The Every Other Saturday podcast contains strong language and Greg Stewart enthusiasm.
Hello, what's happening, troops?
How we doing?
How we doing? And we say troops, obviously, because we've got a special guest on the episode tonight. Episode, what are we on, 15?
I don't know, mate. I'm not keeping count.
I think it is 15, mate. I think the last one you brought out was 14, aye.
So 15 would come after that, and that voice is obviously, if you didn't know, Lester Lindsay for the Armchair Pundits. Also, you can follow them on Twitter, of course, at TA Pundits. They plug all the time, anytime they can. So, at TA Pundits.
An absolutely glowing introduction there, mate. I wouldn't go as far as special guest. I think guest would just about cover it, but thanks very much.
Special, mate. You've hit 1,000 Twitter followers. What can I say?
That's sharply went downhill right enough, but we got there at one point.
Your class is a celebrity on this now, so. So I welcome on to all listeners.
Thanks for having me.
Aye, thanks for having you. We're going to get a bit of a breakdown, a bit of analysis on how Hamilton are playing this season, what to expect of Hamilton, and then obviously a few general questions just about them in general. And I know, Lewis, you've got a few questions for Alistair.
I do, mate.
Hamilton.
I do. I'm
We just
fascinated.
straight into the Hamilton stuff, aye.
Aye, mate. Let's go straight in here. Let's not
Right, okay.
mind about it.
No worries.
So Hamilton, why is Hamilton your football team, mate? Why do you support Hamilton?
Do you know, mate, it's actually, it's a bit of a roundabout story, right? I actually wasn't always a Hamilton fan.
Okay.
I used to be a Motherwell fan, believe it or not.
Oh,
Man,
controversial.
So my dad, my granddad, pretty much all my family were Motherwell fans, right? So it was occasionally going to games. The first one I can remember was Motherwell Partick Thistle, but I can't remember anything about the game. I just remember Partick Thistle, Motherwell. That's pretty much all I can remember. And then I moved in with my stepdad, who was a Hamilton fan. My stepbrother was a Hamilton fan, so we just started going to Hamilton games. We had lots of good memories. Well, I say lots, some good memories at Hamilton games. There's not that many. So pretty much just through my stepdad, mate, going to the games and stuff. That's pretty much it.
Good memories at Hamilton, aye.
Aye.
It was
the
on
best game you've been to, like?
last season.
I'll remember that one. Try to forget about it, but
Aye.
David Moyle always sticks in the head. I know, so I was saying, what's your favourite Hamilton game you've been to, like?
Oh, just for the sheer limbs, it's got to be Hamilton Hibs playoff final at Easter Road, going into it 2-0 down. Jason Cummins, obviously an ex-Bear, scored 2 goals. I believe it was his debut in the first leg, and in the second leg,
Was that his debut, eh?
I think it was, mate. I think it was either his debut or it was one of his first games. The second leg, we went through the Capo and it was a horrible, horrible day. Just rain. Obviously, already going 2-0 down. We scored an early goal with Jason Scotland, an absolute hero of mine. And
Of course.
we scored in the 94th minute with Tony Andrew, another hero of mine. Sadly ruined his reputation by going to St Mirren last season, though. And then the penalty shootout win in Easter Road. And then just having a day in the Capital, having a bit of a piss up and that. It was just pretty good, mate.
Aye. Can't grumble at all. Stayed in the division, like always, you know what I mean?
No, that was when we came up. That one.
That's when we
so
came
it
up,
was
Jack.
actually.
Listen, mate. Pay attention.
I forgot Hibs went down and then we played Hibs and Hearts that season, didn't we?
Aye, that's it. So we went up. We got up that season. The one we stayed up was Dundee United. But enough about Hamilton history.
So was that. But there's a bit of history on how Hamilton fans exist, you know what I mean? So, taking away, obviously, for the upcoming game, we'll go right into sort of talking about Rangers. In the first game that happened was Rangers v Lech Poznan last Thursday. Rangers coming out 1-0 victors in that game. Me and Lewis had a lot, obviously, to say about it, just in private. But overall, Lewis, what do you think?
I'm trying to stay calm, Jack, mate. I don't really. No, I mean, I can't complain. I'm not a Hamilton fan. This guy's not going to get to see European football. Well, he might do. My fact is the whole 5 spots and all that for Europa. I don't know, mate. It was just frustrating, I feel. But say 1-0 victory, it was the main thing in it. I don't know, man. It was.
It's one of the sort of poorer games we've played, but
Aye.
they did cause problems. I mean, I didn't think they would be as good as they were. They were kind of robust, kind of hard to break down, limited as to a few chances and that. Ended up Morelos gets a breakthrough off the bench.
Jack, see, to be honest with you, mate, right? See, at the top of my head, this game's no one. Do you know what's on my head right now, mate? Is the main thing with Edmondson and Jordan Jones, mate. I'll go into that whenever we can, mate. But
Aye, so we'll get away from the game in a minute. But Ali, do you see the game at all?
The Poznan game, mate, we watched it. Me and Hammy. I thought, do you know what? Like, Rangers this season for me have been the best team in Scotland, right? There's no denying that. Their style of football, the way they're getting results, they seem to be the dominant force now. Which is it's been a while since Rangers have been that kind of force, and it's good to see a change up, because from a neutral point of view in terms of the Old Firm, it's a bit boring seeing the same thing over and over again. Celtic winning, as I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah, of course. Right.
So it's good to actually see Rangers come back. Well, if they'll see it out, we don't know. Obviously, they kind of started off well last season. But I think this game with Poznan, I think it was an interesting start, because Poznan were right up for it and they were in Rangers' faces straight away. Rangers weren't used to that kind of approach, because obviously teams in Scotland tend to sit back. Being a Hamilton fan, that's pretty much what we're used to seeing, is just 10 men behind the ball with a big lump up the pitch.
Yeah, pretty much every single team there. I don't know.
Aye, with Poznan pressed and they made it difficult for Rangers. But I think that game, it sums up quite nicely how the season's went so far for Rangers, as they kind of have that mark of a champion, if you will, that Sir Alex Ferguson always said. Like a good team won't play well, but they'll still get the result.
Nah,
and I think
that's something that's not really happened in previous seasons. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we wouldn't have got that goal. It would have ended up us getting beat last season, the season before. You know what I mean? So the team has came on a long way for where we started with Gerrard, and you can clearly see obviously that shining through a bit now.
Yeah, I think that's largely down to the depth as well. It's just the amount of choices that he has in each position. I think the only issue I think Rangers could face is if there was a long-term injury to Tavernier.
That's a big one at the moment.
By him. But I think the goal as well by Morelos, the header, it just summed up what kind of player he is. Do you know, it was the tenacity of it, the never say die attitude, and he got his head in a dangerous area. There was a boot no far away from him as well, but he had eyes for the goal when he got it, so fair play to him.
No.
And then obviously puts us 6 points.
Yeah, Jack, I've got another question for you. What you doing benching my boy? Never bench my boy, you hear me? Alfredo all day.
Boy?
My boy Alfredo, alright, I've got many boys. Alfredo's the top one.
I was going to say, it was just going to be called the every other Saturday Lewis Denton My Boy podcast.
Aye, that's what it should be called, mate. I'll that name.
But what for the game in Thursday?
Aye.
We'll get on to that, mate. We'll get on to that.
Aye, no, we'll get on it. I know we'll get on it. I've got a lot to say about it, mate.
So obviously happy with the result.
Can't really remember the game. We won the game.
Not really the performance, but job done. And then obviously the big talking point that comes out. Obviously we played against Kelly, but apart from that, the two COVID sort of rule breakers, if you will, Edmondson and Jordan Jones. What's your views?
What's my views, mate? I think it's time for these two playboys to be getting their little. No, I'm not going to talk about their wee toy soldiers. No, I just think they just need to leave, mate. They need to be. I hope Gerrard's kicked utter lumps out of them, because I know I would. It's supposed to be boyhood Rangers fans. This is supposed to mean the world to them to play for this club. Doesn't really look that way. It just looks like they're just content with modelling at the Rangers players and getting me birds. Doesn't seem like they're actually content. Generally, Edmondson especially, this guy has been given an opportunity by Gerrard to come up and to play for, you know what I mean, the biggest team, one of the biggest teams in Scotland anyway, between us and Celtic. But
don't forget Hamilton here.
Aye, sorry mate. So no, but I don't know, man. Edmondson came for literally nowhere, and then Jordan Jones obviously at Kilmarnock, and he's played well there apparently. I said to you, I've always had beef with him, even though I've been advocating for him to play recently. Like when we signed him, he went back on loan to Kilmarnock and he scored against us. He's run to Steve Clark celebrating.
That's what my dad just said to me about an hour ago. He's like, that's when his contract should have been ripped up that day.
I remember saying that. I remember saying that because that wouldn't have happened under Walter or MD. You know what I mean? That really done my head in, man. That's when Gerrard should have just went like, nah, that guy, what's he doing? Especially running to Steve Clark. You smelt his breath, mate. I've no smell of
Frosty
drink.
Jacks.
Aye.
But just in general, it's a bad look for not only the two players, but it puts the club in a bad light. You don't want to be involved in these sort of issues. But you're just obviously thankful that they weren't involved with any training because we were off on Monday, and Rangers sort of found it out before they could return to training. Because my biggest problem with it is these two players report to training Tuesday, having known they went to a party but nobody else does, and then they've put everybody else at risk. Games would have had to have been cancelled, and that puts the full Scottish season at risk. So it's just like a big sort of fuck you to everybody.
Aye.
Like, we can do what we want. You know what I mean? I don't agree with it at all.
Aye, I think.
Well, mate,
On you go, sorry.
mate, I was looking at his Instagram, Jordan Jones, right? It's quite a weird profile, but just when he's like showing up with a pen, I remember everyone buzzing about that. Oh, he means business and all that. Well, the only business it seems he's wanted is with birds. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's, you know what I mean? Like he's not delivered at all for me personally. But on you go, big man.
I agree with everything you've said. I think it's been pretty much bang on. I think since the second Jordan Jones signed with Rangers, it's even when it was that pre-contract. Was it pre-contract? Did they sign loan back?
He signed the same day as Glenn Kamara did in pre-contracts, but we got Glenn Kamara, I think, a few weeks after that, and he came in the summer.
Aye, so like he signed the pre-contract, and then whilst he was still at Kilmarnock, tweeted out like WATP. I think everyone knows what that means. I mean, you're still at Kilmarnock, it's not a very sensible move, so he alienated himself then. Then there was obviously the incident with him singing songs and stuff on a night out that he posted on his story. Then there was that needless tackle against Bauer. And then there's this as well. It just seems to be a calamity of error after error after error. It doesn't seem to doesn't like making life easy for himself.
Yeah, that's it. I know, he seems to be a troublemaker. Like, just everywhere he goes. Obviously, you touched on his issue at Kilmarnock when he just signed for Rangers, and he's constantly been in and out, and then just nowhere to be seen. At a point with Rangers get himself injured, obviously in the Old Firm derby. It just seems to me that he's wanting to show he's a Rangers player on Instagram and everything, but he's not actually willing to put the work in on the field to show that he should be a player.
But he's not happy with the rights. It's an age-old dilemma, isn't it? He wants to respond to
I mean, let me ask you a question, right? See, when you win the Premier League with Middlesbrough, do you really need to do it up here? You win the second Premier, whatever, like the youth Premiership with Middlesbrough.
What Jones did?
Aye. I've been looking at him. I've been analysing this.
There's a fact I never knew.
Aye.
I think Edmonton's the lucky boy, by the way.
Aye.
I think
Defo's
because Jordan Jones is he's in the limelight quite a lot because of these mistakes that we've already highlighted. I think Edmonton's kind of going under the radar. But what I will say is I think Rangers have dealt with this absolutely brilliantly. I think the idea to suspend them before they've come back, it's just a professional way to do it. Don't let it interfere with anybody else. These two obviously don't seem to be in Gerrard's plans for the main part anyway, so don't let it have an effect on anybody else. Keep everyone safe. But I want to know how Rangers found out they were at a party. I was wondering if it was Lee Wallace that maybe told them.
It was Barking Brander.
Big Lee Wallace of grass, of course it was.
No, it was Barking Brander, mate.
But it just doesn't. It's no sat right with me. Obviously, we've seen the Bolingoli issue, the Aberdeen issue. You would think players would learn for these kind of mistakes.
I mean, you look at teams like St Mirren that are getting absolutely ridden through, and Kilmarnock that can't even field teams because through no fault of the players, they're getting players positive with COVID, and then you've got people like that just out taking risks. It's needless.
I know, but it's not even just with football, but it's the same way like high profile celebrities, you know what I mean? Like they're not nobody's taking it serious that are in the well off positions, you know what I mean? Everyone like ourselves, you know what I mean, who are just day by day, you know what I mean? We're taking it serious, you know what I mean? It's just these people that because they're on dole, you know what I mean? They think they can do what they want, you know what I mean? In a pandemic, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's exactly it. And I to touch on your point and all, Ali, it was really good for the club to obviously just make it known fast that they were suspended. I mean, no letting any mingling happen. So
I still
get the Grand Celtic fans, but
they fucked it. And I reckon both of them will be either demoted to like youth squads and made to train up in that squad until January time. Then they'll be shipped out. I can't really see their contracts being cut short right now, but
See,
Who knows?
with Edmondson, I think because I don't want to make excuses for his age or that. He should know better, obviously. But I reckon it'll be something with him maybe in January where he gets loaned out or something.
Aye.
But with Jones, I expect Jones to be done at Rangers.
I think that'll be the case of both of them. I think they'll get loaned out until they can find an option for somewhere else for them to go. Because Edmondson, I've not seen a lot of him in Rangers. I think the only highlight I could say with Edmondson and Rangers is obviously that game against Leverkusen in the first leg.
Nah, he scored from that, man.
You know, his own goal against Motherwell.
Strong goal as well.
Aye, that was a
He's kind of a man of average, isn't he? If he does something good, he does something shite to weigh it out.
Yeah, but he came into the team sort of before the shutdown and that. Done well when Hilander and that were injured. They kept Katic out of the team anyway, so he was doing all right. He looked promising. He's still young. He was in Gerrard's plans if we needed him sort of this season. I thought he would probably go out and loan maybe because he's not really played at all. But with us, there's really no way back for these players in my opinion. That's always going to hang above their head if they come back into a team at Rangers. I just don't see that happening.
Aye.
But that's what I'm on about. Look at like with Jermaine Defoe. I seen somebody tweet as well. Like, Defoe's not really in Gerrard's plan, and he's still at home. You know what I mean? Being a professional.
I seen he was on Instagram Live.
Aye, that's what I was about to say.
Playing
You know what I
Simply
mean?
Best and all that.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's
That's phenomenal.
Aye, some man. So just it shows your class at the end of the day. Like Jermaine Defoe, as you say, a senior player, and he's being professional about all this situation, interacting with fans, and that. It's just immaturity at the end of the day with these players. You know what I mean?
it's all for the birds, mate. It's all for the birds.
Jordan Jones, the Tiger.
So moving on to obviously, I don't know about you, Lewis, but more positive issues at the weekend. A 1-0 win at Rugby Park. You had some pretty strong views on this game, so I'm interested to hear it.
Well, I've calmed down for then. I've been angry since Thursday,
You
mate.
sure, mate?
Well, I have, aye. I've told you what I think, mate. Honestly, I just right. Look, for me, it was. I don't know, mate. I don't. Can we just talk about what's coming up? I don't even want to talk about it, mate.
No, mate, get it talked about. Go.
I'm acting like
You
it's.
had some strong points.
Well, no, I'm just. Mate, no, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't get
force it
it
out you then, right? Because I'm feeling a wee bit hurt here, right? See, as a Hamilton fan, see if we come away from any game with a 1-0 win, that's a positive, right, for me. That's a win's what you're after. So I think with 3 points,
I was about to say you're a Hamilton fan. I don't want to. That's what I'm on about, Jack. We have to think of the less fortunate in the league.
so what is the points you're unhappy about? Well, obviously because it was a 1-0 win. Like, and Kilmarnock's a hard place to go. Rugby Park. I mean, you've seen Celtic give you this season, lost 3 points. So it's 3 points that Celtic didn't get, and it's on an artificial pitch, which I know a lot of people don't like. So I think there's a lot of positives to draw from the game. But I just want to hear about your negatives there.
Well, obviously the pitch is a negative for myself. Obviously, it's just it's the fact that we were. I know it's one of the wins we should take. Well, I take it anyway. I'll take the win, obviously, but it's just the performance, like in general, for me, it wasn't anywhere near good enough. You know what I mean? I don't know really what it was with any of them. I just think, you know what I mean, like Barisic was. Jack, you know what I feel about Barisic.
So I honestly don't understand this. Honestly,
Listen,
I think Barisic is a top quality fullback.
Half of the shoes you wear there. I just think Barisic is. I mean, he's more like a baseball player. Every time the ball comes to, he just hits it in the box. Sometimes he needs the time on it to hit it in.
He's got a one-day left foot though.
I know he's got a wonder left foot. I appreciate he is a good footballer, mate, but there's just something about the guy I don't like. You know what I mean? But no, I don't know, mate. See, you just think about. You make me think about this performance again.
See, honestly, I'll give you my view on it. I thought
Jack,
it was a pretty professional performance for Rangers, to be honest with you, because we've seen. I think the stats before the game, we've won 4 out of our 5 last visits at Rugby Park, right? We go there, we get an early goal, albeit a penalty. We've had a chance with Joe Aribo. We've not necessarily played as good as we have, but as Ali was saying, Rugby Park, you take 3 points if you can go there and win any day of the week, no matter how it's done. You know what I mean?
I understand that, and I'm like, it's a big thing, mate. But we've only really struggled there since Gerrard's walked in the door.
We struggle with it all the time. Just in general, no matter how well we're playing, we go to Rugby Park, it's our bogey team.
I know.
I thought with that free kick we were about to score, to be honest with you, but I just didn't agree with taking Aribo off. I know you were saying, because he's signed for injury, but if he
my
must feel,
opinion on that,
he must feel comfortable to play the remainder of the game. We're needing more goals, clearly. I
but my
understand.
opinion on that is Gerrard's obviously looking at that game. Kilmarnock are growing into it. There's
No, I know, I get it.
the three are up top. Joe Rebo's in the midfield, and he's not necessarily the most defensive of the midfield.
Aye, but
So he
he's the
brings
most
on
creative.
Stephen Davis. He brings on Stephen Davis to shore up the middle of the
Aye,
park.
no, I get that. I
To
understand.
make sure that we're fine in the middle of the park. We're not getting outrun, because I thought they did come into it quite a bit.
Aye, only because we allowed them to.
But that was they were always going to come into it because Rangers took their foot off the gas.
No, I know that, but we were. It's I get. You know what I mean? What did I say to you when Bambi was slitting in the first half? They almost scored because of that. Did they know? I can't remember off my top of my head. Did they almost score because of Hollander?
It was a chance, but I don't think it was really any threat to the keeper.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you never know if they'd brought that, what's his name, Brophy boy on before they did.
Exactly.
Did he play
Came
the
through the
Ackies,
Ackies youth system, mate. Aye, went in a free to Kilmarnock.
Oh, Jack, you took one of my questions away. No, I don't know, mate. Listen, I get for me, when at the time I was angry, I was like, why is he bringing Aribo off and bringing Davis on? Looking back on it and with a clear head, I understand why he's done it. Same way, you know what I mean, just to shore the game up, I get that. But for me, it was like, let's go and get some more goals here, you know what I mean? But I understand it. At the end of the day,
Well, I think
we'd get the 3 points.
Gerrard this season, he seems to be trying to kill games off early, get early goals, and then see it out. And because of how good Rangers' defence has been this season, like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but you haven't conceded a lot of goals in the league at all.
No, it's
your defence has been nothing short of phenomenal, and you've played your big games like Hibs, Aberdeen. You've played everybody. We've done a full round of fixtures now, and Rangers are sitting comfortably at the top of the league. I think it's 9 points. Although there's 2 games in hand, right? But as you always say, points in the bag are better than games in hand. But I think there seems to be some sort of trend with Gerrard. Kill the game off early, see it out, and looking at that,
it seems to be
looking at it, I mean, Celtic lost 3 points at that exact ground in that exact fixture. Kilmarnock away, Celtic lost 3 points. That's 3 points you have that they haven't got, so you have one over on them, if you know what I mean.
Aye.
So
100%.
The focus has to be the league table this year, surely, is getting that 55.
Aye.
So you've got a step closer to that, even if it's a very, very small one. You've got that step, and you've got that over them.
I just think in all seasons we would have drew or lost that game.
Definitely.
When I was watching the game, sort of last 80 minutes, as you say, when they got that free kick, I'm like, right, they're going to score here, and then they're going to run at the park and score in the 90th minute or something like that, because that's me. Like that happened 2 seasons ago. You know what I mean?
Aye.
I'm feared when I go there.
But no, well, you shouldn't be. But what I was going to say, I see when we're controlling a game. I said it to you the last time I know. The defence seem to fall asleep. Like a while ago, Goldson or Bambi, Hollander, one of the two of them will fall asleep. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is because we're in cruise control or whatever. But I don't know, mate. As I say, we're delighted. Obviously, we get the 3 points. That's the main thing. We don't need to look back on it. We'll not take that.
I think it's just because we've set so much high standards this season.
That's what it is. But see, when even the manager's saying, look, I want more goals. Like, he keeps saying that in like half his fucking interviews after the game. You know what I mean? I want more goals. Like, even the Celtic game, he was like, could have scored a lot more than, you know what I mean? Like, we should have.
I think.
I don't know.
A good one.
That game we should have.
Because Goldson, I mean, me and Hammy on our podcast, we talk about this all the time with Connor Goldson. He's Mr. Reliable, right? He's Gerrard's man, Mr. Reliable for 80 minutes of a game, but you know that there's a 10-minute spell where he's going to just be absolutely rotten.
Aye.
That's the only issue with him. Like, Hollander, I think, is a great centre half. Obviously, he's had his fair share of injuries when he's been at Rangers, but that 10 minutes, you can guarantee somebody's going to get some change out of Connor Goldson. I think, Lewis, what you're saying, I like what you're saying. Like, you want Rangers to be more positive. I totally get that, because especially when you look at Kilmarnock's team, they're two main players, they're two biggest players, if you will, Kirk Broadfoot and Chris Burke, two guys who were Rangers players a year ago. But that's their main players. So, like, Rangers now should be so much better than that. But a 1-0 victory doesn't really show that, does it?
No, it doesn't, mate. That's what I'm on about. I don't know, man. It's just.
To me, it shows the progress. That's what.
No, it does show progress,
1, 3, 4 or whatever. It shows the progress. We can go there, do a job, and hold on to a 1 goal. sort of.
Aye, mate, but for the majority of the game, they were just sitting.
Yeah.
For the majority of the game, they were just sitting, waiting on us to attack. You know what I mean? The only time they really got and I can, off the top of my head, remember. You know what I mean? Is when somebody would pass the ball, know the best, and they get a chance to go. You know what I mean, on the attack. I don't know. I'm happy with one, mate. That's the main thing. You know what I mean? As you said,
I'm happy with one, but obviously, it's just the high standards that have been set this season. We're always looking for that. Just
we're always looking for more and more
all the time.
It's the same as anything, mate. Listen, I mean, I think we just need to remember that. You know what I mean? The main goal at the end of the season and getting 3 points. It doesn't matter how many we score as long as we win. That's the main thing, really, for me. Anyway.
That's it, isn't it?
Aye.
So it's also I can't mind how many good games I've actually seen on an AstroTurf pitch. Ali, you'll be able
None,
to tell
mate.
me, obviously.
I've not seen a good game at Hamilton in about 10 years.
So there you
The
go.
highlight of the game,
It's
but
just-
the Rangers come up. Sorry, I'm just going to say this quickly. I think the highlight of that full game has got to be Stuart Finley's interview with the advertising board going
Aye, with the
Swallow
board.
it.
Aye. Just
I've not seen this. What
Scottish
happened here?
football in a nutshell.
So Stuart Finley's getting interviewed, and obviously it was the conditions of the game. The day weren't very great, windy, rainy. He's standing getting an interview, and the advertising board just blows air, just fuzz, just shouts it. It's phenomenal.
Aye, Scottish football in a nutshell, as I say.
Aye.
But we move on, as we always do. The games have come thick and fast. Obviously, we put Kelly behind us now. It's 3 points at the end of the day. The focus turns to Benfica on Thursday night.
Benfica.
It's going to be a tough one, but I've just seen last night that they get beat 3-0 off Boa Vista away from home. Boa Vista, a team who sit 13th in the league.
Ex-Man
obviously,
United player ran the game.
Angel Gomez.
Aye.
Benfica obviously been one of the premier sort of teams in Portugal. We were obviously expecting a tough opponent. I still am expecting a tough opponent because getting beat 3-0, they'll have a lot to prove.
Aye, big them up.
Well, there's only
big
been
them
4 teams in Portugal that have won the top flight. You've got Porto, Sporting, Benfica, and Boa Vista. So they're not as a minnow as you would think. Boa Vista are actually a really good side.
Aye.
Really? I didn't even. They won the league,
2001, I
didn't
think it was, mate. Aye.
they? Oh, right, a while ago. I never even knew that. I thought they were just like a sort of dirty team, you know what I mean?
Aye.
I'm
I'm only saying this because there was a Hamilton legend looking at Pietro in Boa Vista. He was just a big Brazilian / Italian centre back who just used to. It was for Hamilton fans. He was a license to print money. His odds were always like 20-81 for him to score. And he always popped up with a header. Absolutely.
Good bet though. But Portuguese football, we've seen plenty at Rangers the past few seasons with Porto, Braga. Do you think this is another team in the hit list?
Definitely, mate. Definitely.
So what are you expecting for the game? Obviously, it's the 5 to 6 kickoff, so we run obviously early. Away from home, of course.
Away from home, in that nice sunny weather. Morelos will like it. Greg Stewart will like it. I expect,
of course,
Greg Stewart. I know. I'm only joking. I'm expecting a good game, mate. A difficult game, but a good game. I'm expecting us to hopefully put a good shift in.
It'll be a good shift.
Well, obviously it'll be a good shift, mate. You see what they get paid?
45 grand a week, Shane Duffy gets paid.
Honestly, disgusting. Yeah, no, mate. I don't know if you want to go into team lineups or not.
Well, they've got a few danger men, obviously, to look at. They're a strong team in general, but a few to pick out, obviously, that have been decent this season is Pizzi's always reliable. He's a good player. He gets a team of the season every year in FIFA.
Who is it?
Aye. 2 centre-backs, obviously, we touched on in the first game to look at, obviously, Vertonghen and Otamendi. If Morelos does start the game, that will be a interesting battle against those two. I'm obviously
they're aging, but they're world-class defenders. They're aging, but they're world-class. I mean, you look over Tottenham and Man City last year. They're
unreal. So that's going to be one of the toughest tests, I think, just in general. A Gerrard sort of Rangers team's faced against they two. Obviously, they don't, as you're saying, aging, but still top class. They've also got Waldschmidt. I know he played in the Bundesliga and that, but he's sort of their main attacker now, scoring plenty of goals, and Darwin Núñez as well. Scored a hat-trick in match day 1 of the Europa League. So they've got plenty of outlets for
What's
goals.
that other boy's name? What's his name? Rafinha? No, not Rafinha. What's it?
Rafa.
Aye, Rafa. Like wrapping
So
paper for him, didn't he?
there's another one for you, exactly.
You need to watch the left back as well. Wee Grimaldo, he's very, very
That's what I
quick.
was about to say, no.
I think he's
Is he?
injured, actually.
That's a good news for
I think
Rangers
he's
because he's
injured.
essentially Barisic with pace and ability to defend, if you know what I mean. Going
Aye,
forward,
Aye.
brilliant.
Sounds like a good player.
He used to offer so much of Benfica, allows him to spread the pitch so wide. Who would be your lineups? But I'm interested to hear what you would start with.
So I put one up on the Twitter today, but it wasn't really the confirmed lineup. It was just sort of from my point of view. So Lewis, you can start with yours.
Oh, I can start mine. Thank you, Jack. It's probably McGregor, Tav, Goldson. He might play a hangman boy. And I'd stick with Hollander. As much as I don't like him, Barisic, Jack, Kamara, and Davis will probably play, won't he? Will. Davis will probably shift in there. My boy Hadji, I feel it for him, but I don't know if he'll play this game. Barker, I'll go with Barker. And I'll go with Kent and Morelos.
Barker, Kent, Morelos up front.
Aye.
Similar, obviously, McGregor, Tav, Goldson, the three love children of Steven Gerrard. I'm going with Balogun in the centre back because I think
That's what I'm on
doing
about.
that rotation a lot. He plays Hollander, Balogun. So I think Balogun will come in. Barisic will start. I think Ryan Jack, Kamara, Davis, same as you. I think he'll sit out Scott Arfield and play more of a defensive sort of midfield.
Scott didn't really have the best game at all at Kilmarnock. He wasn't making his usual runs.
He didn't. He didn't. He's been off it for a few games actually, Arfield. So I think he'll sit out of this one. And then obviously playing Jack Kamara gives more defensive stability, which I think we will need because they could hurt us just as quick. You know what I mean? The up front three, I'm going with Kemar Roof to lead the line personally.
Aye. Who's that for, Jack? Why are you picking him for?
I'm picking him because I see him doing sort of like a Roberto Firmino role for Liverpool, where I see him not as being an out-and-out number 9, but I see him dropping into areas and creating space for the two wingers, so I'm going to obviously put Kent, and I'm also going to pick Brandon Barker as well.
Aye, Barker.
There's just been something about bigger games that he's played Brandon Barker in for some reason. I think this will be one of them again. Not played much football after the Old Firm game, but
No. Let's go on to Roof, mate. What? So Roof over Morelos, aye.
Roof over Morelos, aye. But it's another one that could just be my opinion. I think 9 times out of 10 he's going to start Morelos anyway. But I think the smart thing to do in this game is play for a draw.
Never.
Obviously go out there to win the game, but have enough.
I go there to win the game
where you don't lose the game.
No, mate, I'm on to win.
No, I would like to win too. Obviously, we go out there to win, but I'm just saying, with the midfield, with Roof, it gives us a lot of stability not to lose goals.
I know.
And also, there's enough going forward to score.
Your lineups, I think Roof will start. I think Barker will start on the right as well. I think the reason Barker starts the big games, I could be wrong here, right? But I think the reason Barker starts the big games is because Rangers have such the fullbacks that you've got, they almost play like wing backs in a back four because the amount of freedom they're allowed in the league. But when it comes to a bigger game, I think Gerrard maybe tells his fullbacks to focus a bit more on defending. So you look at the likes of Celtic, Barker starts, and I think it's because if you have Hadji or Arfield out there, they're not natural wide players. So Barker gives you the option of creating width and letting the midfield make runs in behind. I think though, if you start Kamara, Jack, and Davis, I struggle to see where the runs to midfield are going to come from.
That's
I could maybe see Davis sitting out with
maybe
Arfield or Aribo.
I completely forgot about Joe. I'm not even going to lie.
Aribo, I think, out of him and the rest of the midfield is the one more likely to start because he obviously had a good game, and I think maybe he took him off early in the Kilmarnock game. He obviously keep him for this one. So
I don't think
know.
resting players is going to be so much an issue
but
because you had to come on like then it's Benfica,
No.
and I hate to slag my own team, but it's only Hamilton at the weekend. You don't like you could put Rangers could put out a B team against Hamilton and still scud us 4-0. Do you know? That's sad, but it's true. I don't think resting players is going to be so much an issue. I think Roof will start because they're very. I think for what I've seen him, he looks a very, very clever forward. His runs
know
are
he is.
phenomenal. Just who was I was watching?
Yeah, they're tremendous.
Was it Ross County? Rangers Ross County. He's won 4-0 at home. Dundee United it was. Aye, and Roof. I watched the
Dundee
highlights of that
United
over and over and over because it's the first time I'd seen Kemar Roof, and I wanted to see what it was all about. But if you watch, it makes so late runs. It's his late runs that are absolutely brilliant, and he makes so much of them, and it allows the fullbacks if they get up to even like because he draws wide a lot of the time, so it allows your fullbacks to invert as well and come inside, and just create such an overload for the centre halves. I think that's going to be a massive factor. But it could easily be Morelos as well because the two of them are kind of that false nine type of player where they don't sit on a defender's shoulders.
And another one that's threw his name into the mix is Cedric Itten after the weekend. You know what I mean? He had a real good show in his first.
I don't know.
Out in the right hand side, he done well. I thought.
He done all right, but Jack, let's not big him up for this game. Let's save him for Hamilton.
Cedric Itten 10 at Hamilton. That's going to be the
So, what's your predictions for this game, man?
Jack, I tell you this all the time. I don't do these. I know this is what I was going to say to you. See after that Kilmarnock game, first thing popped in my head. See if you say 3-0 again. You've said 3-0 for every game we've played this season, I'm sure. Either a 3-0 or a 2-0. I don't know where you're seeing Rangers scoring 3 goals for, but Jack, what are you going for? I'm just going for a Rangers win, mate.
I don't know if you're forgetting, mate, but we've won before, obviously, Kilmarnock and Black Poznan. I think we've 4 2-0s in a row.
I know. Mate, listen, I forget, all right? I just know we win.
Right. You put how many past Hamilton? Was it 4 as well, I think it was? Past Hamilton?
No, it was 2, I think. 2-0. Nah, it was 2-0. Hadji and
Tavernier got one of the
Tavernier scored, I'm sure.
I think Steve Davis won.
I don't know.
Aye, yeah, but that was 2-0. We really haven't been just blowing our teams apart, but we've got the goals and
kind of want to blow teams apart. The quality's there for it. They could do it.
No. I know I said a draw, but for me, it's either going to be 2-1 Rangers.
I knew you were saying that. I knew you were.
I do.
Just say a Rangers win, mate. Don't embarrass yourself. Just say a Rangers win.
I'm not embarrassing.
You've just contradicted yourself. You just went for a draw and then you went 2-1 Rangers.
No, I said it could be a draw, or I'll go 2-1 Rangers. That's what my Rangers head speaking, but my football brain saying right one each.
One each. I can't see it being one each, mate.
I think it's going to be a tight game.
What you saying there,
Benfica are very quick on the break.
It'll be a tough one.
And you're a player in Portugal. Portugal is never an easy place to go. Portugal is like it's weird to Portuguese teams in Europe. It's almost like a fortress when you go to their stadium. So I think Benfica are solid unit as I spoke. They've got a number of good players. But Rangers defence as well. Like this is the thing. Rangers defence, like I think Benfica will score a lot, but I don't know why because Rangers defence is absolutely outstanding. Gerrard's system seems to be working and taking full effect. But like they've obviously been a great run of form, and Benfica could derail that. That's the issue, I think. So I think Rangers need to set up very, very clever in this game. I can see them being happy with a draw.
I would be happy with a draw as well because 7 points out your first 3 games. You've still got 3 games to play. Surely that guarantees us the qualification to the next round, I would say. No,
I agree with you, mate. But even though, our defence is solid and all that, as I'm saying, but we still have our moments, you know what I mean? Like Goldson, I think it was an Livingston game, showed like he still had that little bit of...
No, well, the players will need to be switched on from a defensive standpoint. You know what I mean, as I was saying, this team attack fast, so the players will really need to be switched on for that kind of aspect of it. But also, you can't write off the defence.
No.
I think it's paid.
No, apologies. No, it's all right, mate. No, on you go.
I think against Benfica, you're going to see pace and skill that you haven't seen since the Bayer Leverkusen. This is possibly they've got a good young team who they're fearless. Do you know what I mean? This Benfica team. I think Rangers should be happy with a draw.
I would personally be happy with a draw, aye, but just in that terms of we're sitting
If you get a draw, it stops
you know what I
Benfica
mean?
getting the 9
Still-
and going 3 above you. But there's that age-old question: if you set out for a draw,
Aye.
you're setting yourself up for defeat, aren't you? Like, you can't need to go out and try and get the goal. But as it, we've
Aye.
said this, like I think we've said this 4 or 5 times already. Rangers score early, so if they get that early goal, it puts you in a good position.
I know it's like obviously bar the Poznan game where they made it really tough for us to break through. Rangers have scored early in
They've
a
got
lot of the
penalty
games this
coming in it
season.
as
I mean, aye, of course.
I can
You
do
see
that.
that GIF, obviously the best GIF ever, penalty to Rangers. So
Don't know, Man United with these penalties, didn't we?
I know Tavernier's just as good as Bruno
He's in.
Fernandes at them, but isn't
1-0, bam, what a goal.
he? What are you watching here?
Real Madrid and Inter, mate.
Who's just scored like?
Madrid. Benzema.
Oh, bit of live football.
I know,
there.
Benzema, that tosser.
So there you go. We'll look forward to that game at 5 to 6 on Thursday. But hopefully we come out of there.
Just a good performance, mate. That's what I'll take.
Aye. Hopefully the boys do his proud over there.
Let's get into the real juicy sauce now, Jack, yeah?
Aye, so obviously the guest on here, Avid Aki, as we'll call him. Obviously we played him at Ibrox this season. We've already played them early in the season. We won 2-0. Ali, I just want to obviously, what's your view on Hamilton this season? I've not seen much of them bar that game we played you at. I can't even.
It's the Fountain of Youth Stadium. Aye, mate. So it's the FOYS Stadium.
I think that'll be
I think
better.
the Hamilton have since come out and said, because like it was been up for a while, the FOYS Stadium. All the Hamilton fans were like, surely they've not called that stadium twice. They've come out since and said it's the Fountain of Youth Services Stadium, but it seems more of a cover-up job than anything else.
Because I've seen it. I remember it called New Douglas Park. Super Seal, aye.
Well, we're a small club, mate. You need to kind of hoard your stadium out to get a bit of money, if you know what I mean. You need to kind of let them put their name on it. Since
fair play,
it's went downhill. But as a Hamilton fan, it's always gone downhill until the last 5 games of the season. Then it's absolutely fucking magic. We turn into Barcelona. If we need, like, Hamilton needs 6 points for a game, we get them. And do you know what I mean? To stay up, that's just what happens. But we've took a 3-1 loss to Annan this season, which is the 3rd time in recent memory that I can remember.
Aye, I've spoke to you a lot about that.
Aye, narrowly scraped past Ayr the following week. It's been a tough season, mate. I think this season is the season we go down. Yeah, mate. Even the youth we're breeding through, because we're just getting scudded all the time. We're conceding early goals, but then no seeing like so you can see early. It drops the confidence of the team, and we're 3-0 down, 4-0 down before the team actually start to kind of get any kind of fluidity in passing together. And by that point, it's too late. I mean, you look at Hibs, we're up 3-0 against us. Then we score 2, we miss a penalty. There's just no that belief that we can kind of take points for games like that. Same with St Johnstone, they went 3-0 up. Then we looked like mount a comeback, 2 goals right before half time to make it 3-2, and you're thinking, right, this could be the day. Then St Johnstone came out and scored again to make it 4-2. We then score to go 4-3, and St Johnstone wrap it up with a cracking Craig Conway free kick to go 5-3 up. So I'm not optimistic for the week at all.
That was a good goal, that one. So how do you see, obviously, Hamilton setting up? Obviously, it's going to be a bit similar to everybody.
I think it'll be
10 men behind the ball.
It'll be a cleverly named back 3 that'll actually be a back 5. You know how that kind of... Now Ross Bentley, Livingston, Hamilton are trying that this season. We're playing with a back 3, but the wing backs are not wing backs. They are told stay back. So I think it'll be a back. It's goalkeeper Ryan Fulton, who I think is actually a good goalkeeper. He gets a lot of time after the Hamilton fans because he concedes a lot. But if you look at the amount of shots that he faces, I think he's got the 2nd most saves in the league. Like, the guy's got a tough job. The guy's got a really tough job, and he gets a lot of stick for the amount he concedes. But if it wasn't for him, we could have conceded 3 times that amount. Player you will know quite well, Lee Hodgson. He'll probably start for it at right back.
A guy I would rather forget, but
feel sorry for you, mate.
Mate, he's
No, I
actually
feel
one of the
sorry
best
for
we
you.
have, so that tells you where we are.
Aye.
Well, somebody actually put up a tweet, right, on my normal page for like 3 years ago. We played Hearts at home. I think Tavernier started the game at right back because there was actually a period in Rangers history where fans were screaming, me included, for Lee Hodgson to play over
Well, I think
Tavernier,
that's
and
fair at
Tavernier
the
was
time,
put
though, because I think
into
Tavernier
midfield.
was suspect defensively. He's come on massively in the last 2 seasons.
He has, and one of my tweets just came up saying, "Oh, why start Tav play Hodgson?" So I don't ever want to remember that name, Lee Hodgson, to be honest with you, because I can't fathom.
Aye.
Obviously,
Obviously,
when
we're
came
missing
over
another player you will know, which you probably won't like as well. We're missing our main player in David Templeton. He's out until next year.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that guy's
Aye,
injured.
mate, he's going to
all the
the
time.
treatment bed. But I think Hamilton will set up a 5-4-1 with Ogdenpo up top. And that David Moyle, for some reason, this season, Brian Rice seems to like him out of left mid, whatever reason I'm not quite sure. I think maybe just because of the physicality of him, like play a ball long, they can get into the channel kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think we'll start 2 strikers, but one of them in the midfield. Our midfield this season hasn't been able to string a pass together.
Right.
And Rangers' defence has been, as I said earlier, nothing shy of phenomenal. I think it'll be one-way traffic because it's at Ibrox, isn't it, as well? That's the thing, like
Ibrox.
These Hamilton players, this is I would like to say a once in a lifetime opportunity for them to play in a stadium like that, but it's different without the fans, isn't it? And I think
that is really different.
I think that's
about 20s in the corner.
I think that's more positive for Rangers than it is Hamilton because you look at last season. I don't know if you've ever watched them, right? I'm going to embarrass myself here, but Thogden. He did a match day vlog at the Hamilton Rangers game last season when it was applaud for Gerrard in 8 minutes, and then Hamilton obviously went on to win the game. Fuck knows how. I'll add that in. Fuck knows how I watched that game. Luke Southwood was an absolute shagger, but I'm not quite sure how he won that. And the fans, the Rangers fans have a tendency to turn if it's not going the way they want. Because they expect excellence, and they don't get it, they're unhappy, which is fair enough because their team is a big fish in a wee pond.
Aye, 100%. Aye, that was a freak result.
That kept us up.
Didn't see it coming at all.
20 points per game, aye.
That
game kept us up, so very.
See, that's a good point you just made there, mate. Like, that's what I was trying to get a point across to Jack about the weekend's game. Like, our team is so much better than everyone else is in the league apart. You could say maybe apart from Celtics. That's what I was trying to get across to you, Jack, mate. It's like, we shouldn't be struggling to beat Kilmarnock away from home, you know what I mean? We should be there, bammering them, you know what I mean?
But and going back to that, it's not.
I don't think we did struggle to beat Kilmarnock because for the majority of the game they were 1-0 up. You know,
No, I know we're all, but no, I know that, mate. But that's just what I'm saying, man. Like, as I said to Jack, like, our players are just head and shoulders, you know what I mean? And then I don't know, mate.
Rangers
I go back
think the game's comfortable. There seems to be a drop off in the players, which which last season didn't go too well. But I don't think you'll have the same problem this year with the after the new year thing. I think me and Jack have spoken about this a few times. I think the worst thing that happened to Rangers last year was beating Celtic at Parkhead. As much as that's a great day and a great memory for Rangers fans and players alike, it completely derailed the season.
I would say it's Dubai, mate. I'd say it's just going to Dubai and just doing whatever you want to do, I guess.
Fair enough. Trying more about this weekend's game. I've not got a lot to say because I think it will be an absolute thrashing. I can see you putting 4 or 5 passes.
I couldn't just hear him, to be honest with you. Bit of a malfunction, but I couldn't hear anything for that sort of 2 minutes.
COVID times, mate, force you to serious measures.
Exactly.
But I can't even mind what I was talking about now. We were talking about the Kelly game and that, but any standout players for you this season now at Hamilton? Obviously, it's been a pretty dismal season.
Aye, mate, because so the team's always shite, so there's somebody that's no shite every season. There's always 1 or 2 players that are no shite, so they're standouts. I've said I like Ryan Fulton. Hakeem Adoffin, who we got for Livingston on a free, came in as a right back. He's kind of cemented himself as our first choice for centre back now. He's got a good few goals this season as well for corners and set pieces, which is something that Hamilton have missed for years as an aerial threat for set pieces. Kyle Monroe, young left back who came in, made his debut against Rangers when Scott McMahon gets sent off in the last game. Then the following week, the winner against Livingston. And no a star man, but we signed the boy for down south, Tunde Owolabi. I'd like to see more of him because I'm guessing you do the same when Rangers sign a player. You go and look at him on YouTube.
Nah, of course.
So
Gungani's Ringu's that one for the now.
Usual.
So I done that with this Tunde Owolabi boy, and honest to God, he looks like fucking Ronaldo in the videos you see him.
Nah, who did he say he played with?
It was that team FC, but it was FC United City of Manchester.
Right.
But that's high quality for us, mate. That's a big signing for us.
Right.
Oh, mate, I feel it for you, mate. I feel
It's
it for
good.
you,
Like
man.
it's good being a Hamilton fan, mate, because like you don't have any expectations to win the league title. Just whenever you get a win, that's brilliant.
I know, but that's what I'm on about. It seems a lot more exciting when you support the kind of teams because you're just, you know what I mean? You just seem like you just enjoy the football and you're no moaning about, you know what I mean? Like myself here sitting here acting like it's the end of the world because the way we played against Kilmarnock, you know what I mean? Like it just seems it's a lot more like, enjoyable, you know what I
It's
mean?
not enjoyable for the main part of it, but when you get a win,
When you get that one,
Aye,
when
no,
you get your
but know
5
what I
wins a
mean, mate,
season, it's brilliant. But other than that, it's pish.
No, but just even like the fact that you know, like the specifics of how you know like, where that lad came from, you know what I mean? And all that part, you know what I mean? When Rangers sign somebody, we just all just like flock to YouTube, as
Aye.
you say, for the highlights, you know what I mean?
I think every team's going to do that though. I mean, you look at that guy, I can't remember his name. Is it Guy Abhamid or something that St Johnson signed? Like again, the Israeli hitman looks brilliant in the highlights, and St Johnson fans are posting that around like mad. Like he's not.
No,
No.
that was similar to I think we signed Eros Grezda based off his YouTube highlights. To be honest with you, he was a fucking stinker, him anyway. So obviously it can do its wonders, or it can just set you up for failure. You know what I mean? But if you're impressed with him, is he injured or set of that now? Do you think he'll be involved?
Tunde, no, mate. I think it's just a case that down there, like, I think it's not classed as non-league. I think United City, Manchester, they're in some level of that 1 million level pyramid in England. You know, there's so many leagues.
Oh,
They're quite low
hashtag
down
United
that.
League.
So it might be National League or something. I'm not quite sure what league it is, but I think his fitness. I think that's really the main issue is just getting him up to the speed of
Right.
because it's a physical league up here as well, as we all know. You look at teams like Livingston and Ross County, they set up with big guys. They're not trying to play football, they're trying to break you. So you kind of take that rough and tumble with the game. But I'm interested to see him. Very interested. I don't think he'll start at the weekend. I think the weekend's going to be a very kind of damage limitation job. I think Brian Rice has got pressure on him as well. The pressure's been mounting on him for the past couple of weeks.
So that brings me on to my next point, actually. What is your thoughts on Brian Rice?
I've got a lot of time for him, mate. I love listening to him after a game, even if it is a loss. He's a very passionate guy. The thing I'll remember is the first game we played with him. First game he was our manager after Martin Cannon left. Thank fuck. It was against Dundee. Dundee went 1-0 up and then we pulled it back to 1-0 and it felt like a win. You know that way sometimes a draw feels like a win? Like the last minute equaliser, Bedari and McKinnon, the ultimate shithouse, into Dundee United fans and then getting get it up for the celebration. So it was just magic. But Brian Rice interview after he said like, this is what I'm here to do. I want to put a smile on people's faces in the stand. This isn't just for the football team, it's for the full place of Hamilton, which is what kind of Hamilton's all about. It is having an impact on the community. So I like his philosophy of football. He played under Brian Clough in Nottingham Forest. So mate. So he's got good credentials and he's got a good knowledge of the football game. And he's a lot of friends in football. I think the pressure's getting to him though, because he came out in the paper the other week saying about how he's not interested in keyboard warriors at Hamilton fans and stuff, which has tickled Hamilton fans the wrong way, and he's got a lot of bad press. I personally think if he goes, who's going to come in? Who's Hamilton going to put money on to be a manager? Because when Martin Cannon left, it was the same problem. I don't see anybody better coming in. So I don't see what getting rid of him actually sorts. I quite like Brian Rice.
Put yourself forward for the job, mate.
Nah, I'm good, man. I couldn't handle that pressure, just getting shouted at for 20 folk every week.
But Brian Rice, that is obviously a big point to make. We're in sort of COVID times and that. Teams are struggling for finances and that. Is Brian Rice obviously, would that be the right decision, removing him for the job? Because then who are you realistically going to bring in at that point?
That's it. You need to pay out his contract and bring somebody else in, and it costs money. And Hamilton's a team that don't like spending money. We don't spend money on players either. Our team's always made up of free agents and youth players. So
who was the actual last player he's paid a fee for?
you put me in the spot here. I can't remember if he paid a fee. Honestly, it's very, very rare. The last player I can actually remember hearing a fee for was Thomas Cherney in 2008. I'm sure we have bought players since then.
Aye,
but
that's the one that comes to your head.
That's the first one that comes to my head is Thomas Cherney 2008.
And I mean, if you've not made a signing for 2008,
I think that was £70,000. I think we've spent, and it's also our biggest transfer ever. I think we will assign players, but it's just for such minute bits of money that you don't hear it. You just kind of assume it's a free agent because in the world of football, £20,000 it's nothing. Do you know what I mean? That's half a Shane Duffy's weekly wages.
Aye. I know. It's just when you look at us and all pure grumbling at Kent's worth 20 million and all that, and then you're saying 20 grand's what a big fee. I mean,
Hamilton is a club. It's probably worth 20 million if that, man.
it's unreal to even sort of fathom that, because we live in this sort of time. Obviously, it was bad before when we were signing Kevin Kyle for free and that, but just now, we're expecting millions and millions for our players, where it's still the big gulf within the rest of the league.
Well, I seen an interesting stat a few years ago, and I'm not wanting to mention, obviously, the other side of Glasgow too much on here. I feel like I have, but I'm really not meaning it. There was a stat. Remember when PSG absolutely fucked Celtic in the Champions League? I can't remember the score, but they
7-0, I think, was it?
One of the ones, a proper 7-0, and there was a lot of Celtic fans saying, "Oh, well, look at the money PSG spend. How are we ever meant to compete with that?"
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, percentage-wise and ratio-wise, Celtic are closer to PSG than Hamilton are to Celtic and Rangers. So how are we meant to compete in a league? We were absolutely naysay. We've not got the money, and we're playing against teams that get so much times the finance. That's why a result against Rangers last season, we got that win. It means so much to Hamilton fans.
That's massive to even think about. Obviously, from a Hamilton standpoint, going to Ibrox being full at the time, 1-0 win. Rangers weren't in the best vein of form, but a win against Rangers is a win against Rangers at the end of the day.
That's it.
And if that's keeping you up at the end of the season, you need to say thanks to Steven Gerrard for that. Because he was obviously wearing these Brian Rice pyjamas, aren't they?
The weird thing is, being a Hamilton fan is used. So Rangers obviously, to use big Rangers men, right? Your biggest game of the season is Celtic, and every time you play Celtic, because that's your rival. But that's also who you're competing with. That's your main competition, so you're looking for league titles. It's Celtic that's going to be pushing you. You're looking for cups. It's Celtic that's going to be pushing you. Whereas a weird thing with a Hamilton fan is your rival kind of changes every season. Obviously, we have Motherwell, right? We don't like Motherwell, and that sticks. But for the longest time, Dundee for us was a bigger game than Motherwell, because we were always down or trying not to get relegated. So Dundee became more of a heated game. Now it's St Mirren. So when we get a win against Rangers, that's bigger than a win against Motherwell. It's a weird thing. Imagine for you to hear.
It's crazy. Obviously, it's obviously good to get this insight as well, because I wouldn't have thought about the majority of these things. I don't know about you.
No, I wouldn't have thought about it at all, man. No, I wouldn't have thought about it at all, man. That's what I was on about. It's really interesting getting you on, man. It's just the difference compared to me and Jack. You know what I mean? You're talking about European football. You're talking about.
Actually, you said something earlier on. I wanted to dig you up about it. You said I'll never see Hamilton in Europe. Fake news.
I know with it.
I actually seen Hamilton versus Basel in the under-17 UEFA League, whatever it was.
There you go, Lewis. You've fucking done.
You've done me, mate. You've done me.
But we'll obviously talk about how we see the game going in a minute. But from a Rangers standpoint, going into this game, obviously off a European night again, I think we'll make a lot of rotation in this game. I know you don't like that rotation. You want a solid squad to go forward, but I see at Hamilton we should be beating Hamilton.
No.
So,
Lewis, I mean, I've listened to all your episodes, right? And if the squad's getting rotated, then your boy Bassey's in.
So he is, mate. I didn't think. No, I know that. No, I feel play there, but I don't know, mate. Gerrard's just.
I see him making a lot of changes. I think you'll see the debut of Bongani Zungu for the start as well.
I was going to say that, I know, mate.
I'm trying to think of sort of fringe players that haven't really been playing a lot. Obviously, Edmondson and Jones were the two of them.
I can hear my team lineup now, mate.
Go and use your team lineup, man.
I just see, what's his name getting the game? What's that boy's name? Forgot his name. What's that keeper
McLaughlin.
who signed for Sunderland's name again? I think he might get a shout in there because he's been he was alright, and then obviously McGregor came in and showed him who the big man is. Probably see him starting. I could maybe see Patterson, maybe. Nah, Tav will play.
Regardless
Tav's
of what rotation
so
happens,
no.
Tav plays every game.
Tav does play every game. Same with Goldson and all, mate. He sort of plays every game.
Your three there, obviously, minus the keeper. I could see McLaughlin coming in, but they three are always going to play.
I think McLaughlin's got a large part to play. I guess he should get a lot more respect than he actually does, because at the start of the season, McLaughlin was solid in goal.
Exactly, he's an arm goal. He's
tremendous.
in, didn't concede any goals really.
That's it, mate, and it means that McGregor, when he comes in, has to be flawless. I mean, Alan McGregor's a great keeper, we all know that, we've seen it for a number of years. But when McLaughlin put in performances like he was, it made it hard for McGregor to get back in the team. So a lot of Rangers' defensive record goes down to how well John McLaughlin started this season.
Because me and Lewis obviously talked about that. Lewis wasn't really impressed with the signing of John McLaughlin at the start of the season. He was like, kind of like a nothing signing, and then he comes in, he does a job. So he's always there. He's always reliable. He's not the first choice yet, but how many years does Al McGregor realistically have left?
He's getting on a bit into, but he is a goalie. I mean, you see them playing the ages.
Nah, I know he's still as good as he was.
Exactly. I don't know, mate. I can see maybe a couple. I obviously see that boy making his debut for the club. He's an avid listener to our podcast.
Every time I tag him on Instagram, man, he looks at it.
Is this Zungu?
Zungu, man. Every time I put up something and tag him, he's looking at it. So fair play to the boy. He knows what's best now. But as you say, rotation, Zungu get his debut. My team lineup, McLaughlin could be a shout in there. Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander probably if Balogun plays in midweek.
I see Hingme playing. That other boy played in Europe. Forgot his name. Came from
Balogun.
I see him playing. I see him playing against Hamilton.
I don't know. It depends on who plays in midweek, I think.
No, I know. This is what I'm on about, but this is... I don't know, mate. This is a headache, isn't it?
I wouldn't like to
be... When you're playing Hamilton, it's a chance to get a feel for boys that haven't played, because it's a training game pretty much for these. Like, you Rangers have a strong enough bench that if Hamilton are 1-0 up at some point, you can sub on the likes of Morelos, Defoe, Kent, Hadji. You can leave these players off for the start and probably still get a result. But the depth that you have, plus the introduction of the 5 subs this season, makes it a much different game as well. You can essentially change half your team.
Aye, 100%.
Aye.
As you say, my boy Bassey will play.
You're damn right he will, Jack. Don't disrespect that lad.
Honestly, this season so far.
Nah, I know he is unreal. Should be number one left back.
A tricky one. I think Arfield, Zungu, Kamara, maybe.
Arfield loves a goal against Hamilton.
He does. I'm screaming at that.
Against Hamilton, you can always assure it, man.
So the midfield's the only one that's stamped down for me is Zungu. I don't see any way that he doesn't play. Up front, leading the line, I'm really confident Jermaine Defoe starts this game.
Aye.
Just for that point I made, obviously, with him being left out of Europe, he's been going to be used as sort of the number 9 for these games against Hamilton, Ross County, St Mirren, that at home. So I see him starting up front. Out wide, I'd like to see Cedric Itten again. I'd like to see him up there.
Jack, I'm going to throw a shocker in there, mate. I think my boy Greg Stewart plays.
The man. Greg Stewart. He'll never get in a team, like, no matter whoever we're playing, man.
No, I'm only joking,
mate. I just think that for a minute. Like, why is he still at Rangers?
I know.
I don't know. Maybe he'll come more in.
Greg Stewart's a very talented player in Scotland, and he's got a lot of skill. You've seen it at Dundee when he was there. He was top goal scorer in Dundee's season when he came up until I think March. It was good when he was at Kilmarnock. He was all right at Aberdeen, I think. But I think Greg Stewart's place as a mid-table team, like the likes of, I don't think he's got the consistency to cut it out of Rangers. I think that's just the issue. I think Greg Stewart's a good player, and he seems, by all accounts, a good professional, but he's just not quite at that level.
Nah, he's became a meme on here as of late. But just I know he's kind of been in and out. He's always been on the bench. He's never. I think he started 2 or 3 games. He's come on a sub appearance. I think he's got decent goals for Rangers actually. Thinking about it, because he came on, scored a couple against. It might have been Hibs or something. I cannot remember. He started that game against Aberdeen where he scored. So he's done all right in terms of that. But I just
he started against Lincoln Red Imps as well.
Oh, did he? I don't think I watched that game actually because I was at work.
Game. First British team ever to beat them on home soil.
Stuff you love to see.
Exactly. I think you're bang on with the Defoe shout, by the way. I think you've seen him against Livingston. I think because Defoe, because he's not got the legs that he used to have, he's not going to run so deep that it costs you kind of that possession up front. He's also his close control second to none. And when you're playing a team who's going to most likely set out with a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, he needs to stay between centre backs and midfield. And his close control allows for the runs from midfield. I think you'll see Joe Aribo playing that game as well.
Right.
I think it'll be Aribo, Kent, and Defoe. Because the three of them will be very
I would take that. Yeah. And on the flip side, and all, if Brandon Barker doesn't play midweek, you could see him, Hadji maybe, who knows. Hadji is a man I actually forgot about when I was going through that team lineup there. I think Hadji could start actually.
Against Hamilton, I think Hadji starting against Hamilton's an absolute waste of a player. You could do it without him, if you know what I mean. You're risking an injury on an artificial surface with a team full of hatchet men.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's it. And I don't know. I don't see him starting in Europe. You know what I mean, I don't really know Hadji's place at the moment because obviously he came under a lot of criticism midweek for his performance.
No for me anyway.
He did for me personally because although he's getting assists and he's getting played out of position for me. I reckon his best position is where he played against Livingston in the middle. He's seen him creating. He assisted the goal for Aribo, of course. I'm just wanting to see a lot more for Hadji because obviously the price tag comes into play, $3.5 million. The name, at the end of the day. So
but that's what he's thinking about, I know, mate. That's what he's thinking about. That I know. He's got to be. You know what I mean? I've never seen his dad kick a ball, obviously, like that, but he's got to be thinking about the price tag. He's came here. You know what I mean? I don't know if his family's came with him or what have you, but he's probably here to sell. You know what I mean? You know, and then you seen him. I don't know if you've seen it during the game Thursday. But I think him and Roof both went for the same ball, and then Roof's like screaming at him. I'm like, listen, Roof, you calm down. You've only been here for 5 minutes, you wee dog.
Because he's too quick, right? So you play him centrally because he can go either side and he can spray a ball about. But he's not the quickest. Like pace wise, he's quite slow. So I don't see why he gets played out wide because that's what teams put their fastest players. It's out wide. So when he's against, if that Grimaldo is fit for Benfica, right? I know that we're kind of past that section, but if Hadji starts out wide, right, he's not going to change it. He's not getting a second by him.
Nah, Brian Easton beats Hadji for pace, mate. That's how slow he is.
I don't know about that. 10 years ago.
Oh no, Hadji for me, I don't know, but he's a young guy, you know what I mean? I don't know how he's just not get any pace.
But just because he's a young guy doesn't mean he has to be quick.
Pace on him.
You seen me run, Jack?
I have.
You seen me run?
Sprint on you, I must say.
But
in terms of that, it should be pretty comfortable for Rangers no matter who plays the game, in my opinion. Although it may be hard for you to hear that, Ali, but I reckon this is our game to actually start scoring goals. I'm going 5-0 Rangers. I know you're just going to say
you might.
Rangers win, but
I'm not going to say just a Rangers win. I'm just going to say a Rangers win, mate, because I don't like to predict scorelines, mate. That's P7 part.
So, Ali, how do you see the game going? Obviously, from a Hamilton point of view.
Right, contrary to everything that I've said in the podcast so far about Hamilton, you can never write us off. Right, it's a game of football. It's 11v11. Rangers are by far the better team. Right, you can never completely write Hamilton off because when we get wrote off, that's when we become better. Like remember the thing Tavernier said last year about we prefer being underdogs. That's the case with Hamilton. We prefer like people expecting nothing because then we've nothing to lose. I do think Rangers are going to win. I'm just saying, bear in mind, don't write us off completely, but I think Rangers will see it out comfortably. I think a 4-1. I think we've got a goal in there.
You think so? Hamilton scoring the fourth goal into Rangers.
I think it's going to be an absolute just disaster of a goal. Like a corner that comes in, it hits off Goldson, it hits off the bar, then it hits off Hakim Adolphin's arse and ends up in. That's the only way to that's it.
Can I win about since the game? No, I can't say.
But you never know. At the end of the day, they've came before. They've beat us. You know what I mean? But just the way Rangers are this season, different sort of animal. Not conceding any goals really against anybody. I will limit Hamilton's chances a lot.
Rightfully so, mate. We don't create a lot, and we leave ourselves open at the back. But Hamilton are really prone to conceding early goals, and Rangers seem to score them. I think if Hamilton can get through the first 15-20 minutes, which is a massive ask in this game, then I think we leave ourselves a good opportunity.
Because as you say, Rangers do start fast, especially at home and all. So Rangers, they really could be out of sight within the first sort of half an hour. But I'll commend obviously Hamilton if they can get by that stage. You know what I mean? Because a lot of teams have not really been able to do it. Celtic.
The longer the game stays now, the better that suits Hamilton. That's I think what needs to be drilled into the players.
So what are you going for your score prediction? Are you going optimistic?
I'll go 4-1 Rangers.
4-1 Rangers. That's what we like to hear. So I don't know if that's all we've got to talk about today, lads, but
no, mate, no. I thought we should talk about my boy, Andy Halliday.
No, if you want to touch on the Scottish Cup, obviously, getting played out, Andy Halliday, happy for the guy, you know what I mean? I didn't see the game, but I was looking at a lot of the TA pundits' tweets throughout it. It seemed pretty interesting.
Missed penalties, there was everything on it. Andy Halliday, a fun fact about him, he's the first ever player to get knocked out of a Scottish Cup quarter-final and reach the final in the same tournament.
That's one for the pub quiz.
That's a cracker, isn't it?
Aye, so because I seen that it was extra time or something, and Nisbet missed the penalty. A guy who, even in a Rangers podcast, I do talk up, I rate him quite highly. Yeah?
I rate him all, mate. After you going on about him. I do think it's a shame he's not going to be in the Scotland squad.
I think it's only
announced the day, I think it was. Aye, but he's better than that all.
We'll go on to the Scotland squad in a minute and all, just to round it off. But when does the Scottish Cup final even get played?
Is that one?
20th of December.
It's another game on the calendar for
December.
Obviously, Aberdeen folding like a deck of cards. Once again for Celtic. It's a moment, a brilliant so for Ryan Christie, I must say. It was a great goal.
Both goals very well played.
Celtic
done what Rangers have been doing all season. But I spoke about this last week. How Rangers and Celtic, the difference between them this season. I think this is pretty much the key difference. Is Rangers get a goal and see a game out. Celtic get a goal and then invite on pressure. That's the difference. Rangers play the ball and hold the ball. Celtic seem to have a panic about them, which they've not had in the past.
I know. I don't know if that's just really this season. I don't understand where that's came from.
It's never been done before.
Aye, it's obviously it seems to be impacting them more than it does Rangers at the moment, because Rangers really need to just get the job done. Whereas Celtic have got that monkey in their back. Well, right, we need to win the league. It's both teams are in the same sort of ask this season, but they've got we could be 10 in a row. You know what I mean? It is taking its toll on them. But they might be back to form now.
A strong win in a semi-final. That's if that can't turn your season, I don't know what will.
Exactly. And then, as we were saying, the Scotland squad came out today. I'm not really the biggest Scotland fan. I don't really bother with international football, but I'm interested, obviously, to see the squad. Lee Griffiths was called up again. I saw. Ali,
I think that's a mental one. I think that is just typical Scottish football. I think Lee Griffiths is a phenomenal player. Don't get me wrong. Lee Griffiths is on his day, he's unplayable, right? On his day, he's one of the best strikers in this league, if not the best, right? But when you've got Kevin Nisbet, a young lad who's on form and scoring goals for fun, and it's not just like he's scoring the same goal, he's scoring a variety, headers, goals to range, goals inside the box, right foot, left foot, he's scoring, he's showing himself to be an absolutely brilliant player. And I don't get what the thought process of bringing in Lee Griffiths, who's not even had 90 minutes yet. He's had a cameo against Rangers, Aberdeen at the weekend. Did he play at the weekend?
I don't know if he started.
Edward started, didn't he? So he came on, and then obviously came on and scored against St Johnstone. So he's coming on and scoring, right? That's all very well and good. But you get Kevin Nisbet, who's played near enough every minute of this league campaign so far and done it well.
Yeah, he's still the top scorer in the league, guy.
Him or Lewis Ferguson, mate. It's one of the two. Another ex-Aki, by the way.
I'm with you with the bringing the young lad that used to are raving on about. The thing with Griffiths for me is like, I agree. Obviously, he's not the thing with his fitness and all that part of, but I just think he's one of the players that if he's fit, he's worth the risk. You know what I mean? Like, just bring him along. Compared to that boy for Sheffield, mate, I just think he is woeful, man. I don't even.
Big staunch boy.
I just don't rate him at Burnley, mate. I think he's a waste. I don't honestly, mate. I couldn't care less, mate. He's supposed to be a Leeds fan and all that part. I don't care. He's honestly, he's a waste of jersey. Honestly,
Scotland, to be honest with you,
the way he gets his shin pads and all that part, I don't know.
If you look at Scotland's attacking options here, so you've got Oliver Buck, Lyndon Dykes, Ryan Fraser, Lee Griffiths, Ollie McBurney, Callum Patterson, Lon Shankland.
Callum Patterson, why is he there? Was he not right back 2 minutes ago?
But he's converted himself.
I actually quite rate Callum Patterson when he comes on for Scotland. He's just an outball. It's just Scotland. We get a goal. We set up like we do what Rangers done against Kilmarnock. If you want, we get the goal. We sit back, but it just goes long, and it's Callum Patterson. He wins a lot of free kicks, and opposition have to take up time. Like Scotland done the world beaters were shithousery. That's the best we're ever going to be. So play like that. Use Callum Patterson. The guy just throws his body about and wins free kicks. Like he's a clever player. I wouldn't say he's necessarily great, but he's clever.
But then I see with Lon Shankland being added. How is he in the squad, but Kevin Nisbet can't be? That's what I don't understand. But also Craig Gordon coming back into the squad as well.
Craig Gordon, I think, made his place. I think Craig Gordon, especially after that semi-final. I mean, that save for the Kevin Nisbet header alone shows you Craig Gordon still got it. I think Christian Doidge of all folk.
Overhead kick, I think it was.
I'm just having a look through a Scotland squad. Team of left backs, isn't it? Aaron Hickey will be added probably.
Why is he picking 3 left backs
in the coming years or whatever? But you've got Tierney, Greg Taylor, Andy Robertson, Hickey still to come in. I mean, just a full team of left backs.
But can he not play right back and all?
Right-footed, by the way, right-footed left back. You don't see it very often.
Nah. So the Scotland team is probably the best it's been in a while. I think with the quality in there, although the attacking options are a bit poor. But Ali, I'm pretty sure they've been on a good run of form.
What is it? Off the top of my head, I can't remember. I think it's unbeaten. Unbeaten in 8, not conceding a lot of goals, scoring a lot of goals, and they seem to be playing well as a team. Steve Clarke, obviously, is the master of kind of just shithousery. Like, you've seen it at Kilmarnock, he got Kilmarnock to 3rd in the league. God knows how with the squad that he had, but he managed it. He seems to get teams overperforming. Scotland set out defensively, and they get an odd goal. I think Lyndon Dykes needs to start that game, and I think Dykes and Fraser's a very good partnership, because Dykes does the physical work and Fraser does the running. The two of them work well with each other.
Nah, but the game with that is pretty good.
And our central, we talk about how good the left backs are. Our central midfield options are absolutely brilliant as well. Like I said, John McGinn, Ryan Jack, Callum McGregor, Scott McTominay. Albeit, like Steve Clarke likes to see him in that defensive line, but the midfielders we have seem to go under the radar because of how good the left backs are. Our squad's actually at a pretty good level, minus maybe the strikers, but our squad, it's probably the best I can remember it.
Nah.
I know, definitely.
Obviously, I don't really take the international breaks well, but I'm trying to put that at the back of my head now. Get these 2 games out of the way.
Serbia, if you beat Serbia, that's us in the Euros.
It'll be a game.
And next Thursday, man, mark your calendar for it. I've took a holiday for it. I'm absolutely buzzing.
Oh, next Thursday, I'm a close, so I'll catch it in there or something. But I don't know, is there anything else you want to talk about then?
Aye, mate, as just a quick question before we go, I was wanting to ask a Hamilton lad, is obviously there's a player that's been linked with Rangers, like Rangers fans seem to want down the line, is Lewis Ferguson. Just wanted to ask him, because he's a Hamilton fan, he's seen him play obviously over the season and that. Just wanted to know
He never
what
actually
is he
got a
like
full
for
season at Hamilton, mate. He came through
season, you know what I mean?
pretty much after Rangers pinched Greg Docherty off us, but he kind of get gradually introduced through the season. You could tell straight away he's a player, and you see that Hamilton. That's our best, where we create best players is centre midfield. You look at James McCarthy, Greg Docherty. Alright, didn't work out for him at Rangers. Lewis Ferguson now as well. I think he only actually got 7 league games for us, but he was a good player. Dirty rat bastard though, but a good player. Left on Aberdeen for a free, refused to sign a new contract.
Hopefully he comes up.
No, I just wanted to ask you, mate, obviously,
I
because
think he will end up at
player
Rangers, mate. You look at the family
personally,
legacy
I
he's
would
got,
like
he's
to see
definitely
Rangers
ended up
one
at
day.
Rangers at some point, isn't
Nah, Ferguson, 100%.
Aye, definitely.
But if that's all we have time for, lads, we've went through pretty much everything, didn't we? So,
Aye, your team's battling the
I
line
think
here,
it was the
Jack.
score, actually. 4-0.
Well, now, some beautiful goals we scored. Aye, Jota looks
I'll
like
go
a
and
player.
catch a bit of that when we're done here. But anyway, cheers, Alistair, for coming on.
Man, I
Obviously,
appreciate
your
it
views
very
on
much.
everything.
I appreciate it, mate.
And it's been a good episode, lads. So I'll
See you
catch
later,
you
mate.
after, right?
I enjoyed it. Cheers, Jim.
Catch you later.
Cheers.